east side of the Shugulan River, a narrow waterway between the coastal and central mountains. They rely on 3 crossings to access Route 9 and thus the rest of Taiwan. One of those crossings was the 2,000-foot Gaoliao Bridge. Its central location in Yuli meant it saw the most traffic. Otherwise, drivers would have to travel about 4 miles south or 8 miles north to the next crossing, and nobody has time for that. But on September 19th of 2022, those 2 crossings were their only options. That's because a 6.8 magnitude earthquake rocked eastern Taiwan. It came only hours after a 6.4 magnitude tremor and was one of 17 earthquakes recorded within 48 hours. When it was over, all that remained of the Gaoliao Bridge was a twisted heap of concrete and metal. Drone footage shows pieces lying in the marshy riverbed. You might think you're watching footage of a new zombie movie. From the looks of it, at least half a mile had collapsed into the muddy riverbed below. It's kind of interesting how, despite the catastrophic failure, almost all of the asphalt was in perfect condition. You'd think that kind of movement would have cracked all the pavement, but from the video, it didn't do a thing. The only damage to the road itself happened in the parts that had not collapsed. Clearly, the pillars holding the bridge up were the point of failure. The damage left hundreds of people stranded in the mountain towns. Luckily, rescue crews could still reach and pull them from crumbling buildings. Thanks to earlier warnings, the bridge was practically empty when it collapsed. 3 vehicles did fall in, but all their occupants were okay. It's unclear how much it will cost to repair the bridge, or if there are any secret structural weaknesses. Like the Kinzua Bridge in Pennsylvania, this one fell victim to Mother Nature's raw. China is the perfect example. It was supposed to be the largest soccer-specific stadium in the world. The lotus flower design, inspired by the city's nickname, would attract fans of the Guangzhou Football Club. It would be seen for miles and hold about 100,000 people. It was ambitious, expensive, and doomed to fail. Construction on the $1.7 billion stadium began in April of 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic made things exceedingly difficult, especially given China's strict lockdown rules. Yet, they trudged ahead, with plans to open in 2022. The Evergrande Group, who was in charge of construction, refused to quit. Evergrande was once China's second largest property developer by sales. In 2018, they became the most valuable real estate company in the world. Today, they're the most indebted company in the world. They filed for U.S. bankruptcy in 2023 and were dissolved by court order in 2024. In 2021, the Chinese government seized the stadium and transferred it to a state-owned construction and investment firm. They officially pulled the plug in 2022. You see, 2022 was a bad year for Chinese real estate. Chinese companies like Evergrande invested in too many mega projects. Evergrande alone was over $300 billion in debt to thousands of banks, suppliers, and foreign investors. They single-handedly caused a massive property sector crisis. Today, the Lotus Flower Stadium remains less than half finished. It looks like someone ripped a finished stadium off the ground, leaving only the foundation behind. Think of it like the burned bits of food stuck to an ungreased baking sheet. Only those burned bits cost over $1.7 billion.